Ladies and gentlemen, trans and pans, anything else we happen to sans, please give it up for your first half open mic host, Jonathan.
How the hell y'all doing tonight? Oh, that was adequate. That was honest. Link would ask you for more, but I prefer the honest response. By the way, if you are here tonight and you are not yet of drinking age or you just don't like alcohol, you know, they've got great mocktails. This is a dandelion ginger mule. They also have the classic Shirley Temple. And there's another one back there that I can't remember the name of, and I can't read it from back here, from all the way up here. So, all right, how many of y'all have been here before, and how many of y'all are here for our lovely feature this evening? I should have asked that instead of how the hell y'all doing tonight. And what's your name? Y'all give it up for Quiet Storm. She'll be handling the jokes this evening, apparently. Nothing I say is funny. Hey, oh, he is. All right, we currently have 10 people signed up for the open mic this evening, so at the moment I think that 2 apiece seems like a good way to go. If more people show up, it might go down to 1 apiece. If a bunch of people leave, it might go up to 3. I hope no one leaves, though. We will be posting photos throughout the evening to our Instagram page. You can find us on Instagram at Dayton Poetry Slam. We don't post anything to our Twitter page live, but we are on Twitter at SlamDayton. The entire show is being recorded and will be posted to our YouTube channel sometime next week. Just depends on how long it takes to edit it and if the video and audio give us any difficulties or not. And we are also on Facebook, and just search for Dayton Poetry Slam. We have 2 pages. If you go to the wrong one, it will direct you to the other one. The moral of us having 2 Facebook pages is make sure that if you have a Facebook page for a group of people, that more than one person has admin privileges. Because if they don't, you end up having to make a second page, and it just gets very confusing. Trying to remember if there's anything that we need. You know what, we'll move into announcements as the evening goes along. No one wrote "not first" next to their name. Well, 2 people did, but not directly. Someone wrote "first half," and someone wrote "second" next to their name, which I'm just going to assume means you want to go second. Not in the second half of the evening. All right, y'all, coming up to the mic. First, put your hands together for Aaron MJ. What? No more comments? I mean, if you want to, we don't require them anymore, but. Cool deal. I mean, if you want to use a condom, no one can stop you.
That's just. This first one is called Thoughts from a Train Window. The mountains in her mind are covered in the color green and... Crap. I did it again. The mountains in her mind are covered in the color green, and the valleys in between are littered with yaks and ibexes. Once I reach the stone bridges, I press against the glass to look into those ever-expanding valleys and the occasional curving river. Maybe those rivers are the primary producers of all the things that make her gaze break me down so damn well. I can imagine the alpine evergreens giving their needles to the water, and the flowers are petals, especially when she is against the wall, grinning at me with one leg gliding up my side, for those pieces of greenery dropping into the water probably bring into an intimacy that is born from the relationship between the river and the roots. And when she's smiling at me with one knee pressed against my side. Intimacy is the only thing I feel. These were today's thoughts as I took the train writing on her words into her beautiful mind. Thank you. Oh, it's a cough. Thank you nonetheless, though, Tui. This second one is nameless shit. And for the first time, this isn't a lovey-dovey one, so yeah. So for whoever said boo, thank you. But for everyone who's had to deal with my sappy stuff, this one's for you. She's Mr. Exit. Maybe she had a reason, but did she really need one? Well, of course not. See, she only needed that playlist and pistons in an engine ready to take her somewhere else. Since when was there this much comfort in pulsating highway lights? Tonight, she was feeling more joy from them than she has from the sun. Yes, light is different here and now. A lone light hanging from a barn roof in the expansive rural dark. It restores her faith in herself. And the lights tracing the shapes of semis and their trailers tell a story of night adventures, and she wants to listen to them. And she wants to make her own instead of going home and brushing her teeth and setting her alarm and going to bed. And she wants to listen to these, or she wants to be coddled by these night lights that tell her there's something else. Thank you.
This is as fast as I move. Y'all, put your hands together one more time for Aaron MJ. I used all of my expendable energy cutting the lawn today.
You're so domestic.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Hire a gardener or something? I don't make
said
gardener
domestic,
money.
Not too white, okay? No.
What?
No.
I live in the inner suburbs, not the outer suburbs.
No, I live in the outer suburbs.
He does. He lives in Centerville. I live in a neighborhood of Dayton.
So here's how bad my suburb is right now. This week is like junk week. So if you have shit you don't want, you just put it on the side of the road and people either come by and take it or the city does on your trash day. But the problem is because of, my puppy is, territorial. We have a delivery box labeled clearly deliveries. Somebody took it.
Were there deliveries in it?
Thankfully, no. It was one of those rare days we didn't have shit in there.
We don't have a junk week in the Hearthstone and/or Belmont neighborhood.
I thought that was every day. Thank you, folks. We'll be here all week. Tip your wait staff. Try the veal.
All right. If you're watching us on YouTube, remember that if you like what you're seeing, like us, and if you click that bell thing, it'll let you know when we post a new video. Yeah, typically Monday afternoon, Monday morning. Occasionally Tuesday if the editor gets busy.
Like the first day of the fucking term.
Why are you fucking the term?
Why? The term fucks me all the time.
So it's like mutual masturbation then. Okay. Good night, everybody! All right, we are going to go ahead and get our second poet of the evening up here. And because they wrote second next to their name, we are literally making them go second. Y'all, put your hands together for Teacher! It's not here yet.
Is it permissible for a poet to release the microphone from its microphone harness? Yes. I guess this needs a content warning. Anyone here, you've got a spiritual life or whatever, I just want you to know I got nothing but love for you and your mechanism for getting through this brutal, fucked up life we're in. I just need you to hear this, and I just need you to know that we all got different mechanisms, and we can't force them on one another. You draw little sections of dirt, write books on the direction of Earth. You make decisions for the best and the worst, leaving every child wondering what these lessons are worth. And you put on a special robe and a hat, and with the power vested in you, try to close the gap that exists between hope and fact, the gap you used to silence those who rose and asked. Some kids have bad beliefs, boy. When they die, they'll have the least toys. All they gonna see is a massive, bleak void. Aren't you glad you were had in these loins? There's a life coming better than this one, so don't worry if you never exist much. It isn't gonna matter when your feathers extend, love, for the next 80 years. There's no pressure to live, son. Have you been to Jesus for the cleansing power? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? 'Cause everyone knows the Lamb's blood is better, much better than the blood of man. Yes, that would be the great problem, isn't it? The knowledge that this existence isn't infinite, the venom that swims in the skin of a missionless, minuscule minister, as intricate as any kid's. Oh dear, oh my, what's next? Your fragile angel life gone south for the best. Mouth full of breast, house full of sex, and there's still no hell for the hound and his foul breath. Oh Lord, oh God, what's left? Your daughter's derriere went down with the rest. She's rolling with the Morrisons and Mercury's as well. They're having one hell of a time in hell. If the nuns and the preachers from the South all go to the same damn place, devout or no, then the gates aren't pearly and the houses aren't gold, and they'll get along fine in the ground if they're cold. You never heard a hymn with a single dirty word, 'cause a priest lets a little boy sing his dirty verses. Whether it's the first time or the 31st, the journalist never asks who was flirting first. Divorce, loving whore, fucking abortion, discussing worldly heathen horde. Are you ready for the fourth coming, third coming, second coming, first coming? We don't all agree, but a fact can't touch a cute idea shielded by belief. What's a worm to a raven? And what's a raven to a thief? I think you see where I'm going. I'll bet you know what I mean. Ask yourself this question. What's that thief to a king? What's a king to a god? And what's a god to me? Thank you.
Y'all, give it up one more time for Teacher. If mocktails are not your thing, they have $2 Jello shots back there. If y'all want to remember what college tasted like, go get some Jello shots.
Tastes like student debt.
I always thought Natty Light tasted like student debt, but I wouldn't touch a Natty Light at our age either, Link.
No, I just remember doing this show at Art Street at UD.
Yes.
And watching the guy carrying the cases of Natty Light, like 2 cases in each arm, walking down. It's Saturday, man.
The last Lit Fest we did at Wright State, I was walking through the UD ghetto. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening, and there were already UD kids forcefully removing alcohol from their digestive tracts so they could drink more alcohol. That's not a lifestyle y'all want.
$52,000 a year.
Is that what they spend on Natty Light when they do that? Because I'm pretty sure you could still get a 30 brick of that for about $3. So, Natty Light, untouched by inflation. Why? Nobody wants to drink it still. All right, that is enough for me, y'all. We are going to call our next poet up to the mic. Y'all put your hands together for Ada W. Wood.
Hello. I put my name fourth on the list, so this is a surprise. This first one's called Creation and Refinement. The technical difference between clay and soil is complicated. Clay is old. Clay is formed from the bones of the earth, compacted, compressed, pure compounds, the end result of endless pulling and twisting and scratching from the soft lips and fingers of wind and water droplets. The earth's minerals cling tighter to one another like lovers afraid of being ripped apart again until only clay is left. Soil is dirt and rock and sand, the organic, the inorganic, and clay. Soil is everything. When the world breaks down into base components, it will turn into soil. When soil breaks down, it turns to clay. It's hard to know the defining point when one becomes the other. Clay is always clay, even when it is left to dry and crumbles to dust and creates a thin film over the floors and walls and clothes and hands. Add a little water and it sticks to itself again. It can be molded, shaped, made into almost anything. Add a little too much water and it becomes slip, glue, which is used to bind other clay together. Ceramics is different from other sculpture because ceramics are built from the formless rather than carved away. After a piece is finished, it needs to dry out again, water leaving like the long, slow breath of the earth. And then it is placed amongst fire. Clay is different from soil because under extreme heat it does not crumble but glows red like steel, or it explodes. If the wind's soft lips and water droplets' gentle fingers have left anything behind within the clay, it will not survive the core-like kiln. Sometimes the shrapnel destroys other pieces as well. If it does survive, its color is bright orange or white and called green, like moss that grows green and dries white in the living soil far from fire. This, though, is clay. Once fired, it is finished, or painted, or glazed and fired again, and again, if need be. Stop it. This next one is a bit of, is kind of like, it's my first angry poem, you guys. It is in response to all of the legislation coming out currently that preys on transgender kids and LGBTQ kids in general. So bear with me as I might yell, and I don't know how to yell into a microphone. Hey, I'm gay, and I'm gonna stay that way. No matter which way I sway my hips as I sashay away, I will be gay today and tomorrow. I am clay that only my hands can shape. I play in mud because I like the way it tastes. I wish I could show you. That's Mother Earth, motherfucker, and all is sprung from her. Gaia, on your knees and pray. Stay on your knees and play. I'm a bitch. I'm a switch, top or bottom, I'll top you like Sodom, as long as it's okay with you and I've had a good day. So go on, smite me, slay me, make it a display. Tell your children you can't say gay. This may cause you some dismay, but who I am is in my DNA. You can tell your kids and they may even try to obey, but who they are cannot be held at bay. Much as they try to please you, watch as their life turns to gray, basically decay in front of you. You'll be lucky because at least they'll do it above ground. Watch as there is hell to pay and repay. Your children cannot stray from you, you stray from them. You prey on them, you prey on others and use them as a shield. You splay your arms and legs and flail wildly and call it ballet. Shame on you, more than shame, more weight on your chest as you lay like a drogger, undead, return from the grave, suffocate under us, because you've done far worse than desiccate our final resting place. You've laid claim to our rest while we still live. So may the last thing you do be hearing as you fade from our refrain. Gay, 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 gay. Lesbian, bi, trans, non-binary, queer, questioning, intersex, ace, arrow, two-spirit, everything that covers under the plus, and goddamn gay.
Y'all, just keep that shit going. Just keep that shit going. Clap some more. You look like you had something to say, Link.
Well, I was going to say, at first we were like, this is the nicest angry poem we've ever heard. And then at the end we were like, oh shit, there it is.
Yeah, normally when I read an angry poem, people are like, is he going to have a coronary on stage? Veins shouldn't pop out of your forehead like that. Horrible transition, though. We will, the next show will be on, today's the 1st. That's what I was doing. Yes. May 15th. That is the New Shit Slam. New Shit Slam. That means if you've read it on this stage before, you can't read it at that slam, but you can read anything that you haven't read on this stage. Don't worry, I'm gonna totally screw myself over later in that regard. It's fine. Yeah. What? Well, I don't know, Link. How much does the winner get?
The winner gets $50 in cash.
Asking me questions that I...
Second place gets free admission to the next show.
Third place gets...
a warm hug.
Or a cold hug, depending on what your temperature preference is. We'll go find a walk-in, we'll hang out in there for a little bit, then we'll hug. It'll be great. I don't know, I like to give people options. The Friday after our next show is the first sideshow that has happened since 2019. And we're performing at it. Sideshow, it's this amazing music and arts festival that happens in this very space that we are in right now.
Not only are we performing at Sideshow, we get the main stage this time.
I think we did last time too. I'm not gonna lie, pretty much everything before, everything 2019 and earlier, it all just blends together at this point. It's like, you know, the before time. Before I had to start paying for things with pop can tabs. I will look up the time that we are performing at Sideshow on
9:30.
Friday and let you all know later.
9:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had forgotten what it was off the top of my head because now that I'm not in college anymore, I've made a habit of not memorizing information I have at my fingertips. All right, y'all. As promised, our next poet up to the stage. Put your hands together for Morgan!
didn't come up here for poetry. I came up here for shameless self-promotion. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm not kidding. Aisha, who's not here tonight, but if you come to the Poetry Slams regularly, you know her. She's amazing. Her poetry's fucking dope. Basically, we have a podcast together, and for April, we did a National Poetry Month episode, and it's one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. We have a ton of feature poets who have sent in recordings of themselves reading poetry. We have Quiet Storm. We have the previous poet, Ada Woods. We have Link. We have Jonathan. We have tons of awesome poets that have sent in recordings. We haven't released the episode, but if you follow us on Goodreads Better Friends at Instagram and Twitter and stuff, then we'll let you know when we release the episode. Check it out. And I actually, for the first time, read my own shit, which once again, if you come to these poetry slams, you know I always read other people's shit. So tonight, in honor of that, I'm reading one of my own poems, very short, untitled. Hope you like it. It's untitled. My father loves me in the same way he loves God, which is to say, he enjoys the idea, but lacks the discipline to be even remotely devoted. He pays his tithes on holidays, but in the space between, I am resigned to a collection of portraits on the wall of his living room, a saccharine altar that declares my holy presence in his life. So that was my shit. and then I'm gonna read someone else's shit. This is by Ashley Hayes. This is called Temple. The pastor says we are having church, and I begin to wonder what it means to possess a thing you cannot touch. I caught the Holy Ghost once after chasing him in the back pews, held on to him long enough to convince my mother of salvation, then went home and set him free in the wild. How pompous of man to think himself temple. Don't you know that I have called out to God in emptier structures? The door of the church are open. Come, sit, lay your burdens at the altar, eat the body and its crumbs, sip the blood until you are satisfied. I am unlearning how to erect myself as a stained glass home. This pipe organ heart is guilty of calling out to the godless men, especially men who peak during prayer. Thank you. Have a good night. Oh, also, more shameless self-promotion. Some of you have little flyers at your table for Solitary and Dividend. It is a performance that the choir I am in, based out of Yellow Springs, is having in May. And we are teaming up with Returning Artists Guild. And it's going to be, so this is a Returning Artists Guild is formerly incarcerated people who have put together an amazing collaboration for art and music. And so we're doing a performance. Come check it out. It's very social justice heavy. It's amazing. Come watch us perform. Thank you.
Y'all, give it up one more time for Morgan. All right, we got just a couple poets left in this first round before we get to our feature for the evening. With that in mind, y'all put your hands together for your next poet of the night. I guess I'm just gonna call everyone from the same table up in a row. Put your hands together for your last feature, Letitia Lachey.
Have we fortified the microphones?
I'm a homosexual. Everybody looked at me like, oh God, no. Do I look like I throw pipe? Don't do that to me, y'all. Oh, it's that type of, sorry. So I'm gonna do the poem I did in my feature. They'll say it. But
Why do I give a fuck? We're already demonetized.
oh, cool. Not that one. So I'm changing my name. I am no longer going by Letitia Ellis. I will be going by Letitia Lachey will be my last name, which is my middle name. There is a reason for it, and I'm going to read this poem to you, and then you'll have an understanding why. But I will say this. I'm creating my own lineage, my own heritage, that my wife, or if I decide to have children or dogs, when they ask, Oh, Lachey. Where's that from? They can tell them it's Black America. So, with that being said, this is called Say It. Black names. What the hell is that noise? Black names. Uncivilized, unrecognizable. Black names. Savage, hard to spell, harder to pronounce. Black names. Hoodlums, thugs, thoughts. See, the thing about black names, like everything else, was birthed out of black trauma. Black names. Ghetto, bastardized names that made it difficult for people who looked like me to be respected by people who didn't look like me. See, black names were created out of safety, out of code, out of pain. See, black names were created when enslaved mothers' children were sold off into slavery. They would give their child something unique. So if you came across a Shalimar or a Letitia or Trevante or Kavan, you knew that was your son or daughter. Imagine having your mother's tongue ripped from her mouth and then forcing to create a new one out of fear, mixed with whatever wasn't stolen from them to create something so beautiful. Black names were just another way of saying lost and found. Black names. They would even take their master's last names to make it easier so when they were free, their families could find them because they had the same name of the plantation. Imagine walking around with the last name that has nothing to do with you, forced upon you, black people. We do it every day. I now understand why Cassius Clay would say, "Don't call me by my slave name, I mean Muhammad Ali." Black names. Born out of trauma but not traumatized. Black names sit upon our heads like crowns from the lost kings and queens that were stolen from us. Black names scream excellence. Black names scream power. Black names demand you to do your best. Black names causes you to use your brain. Black names forces you to speak a language you were fortunate enough to have the privilege of not learning. Black names forces you to call out your own ignorance. Black names forces you to call out your own internalized white supremacy, your own colorism, your own self-hatred. Black names. See, the thing about black names, they demand you to sit upright. Black names say speak when spoken to. Black names are a tradition passed down from my ancestors, if that's what you want to call them, because I'm 3 generations free. In context, that means me, my dad, and his grandparent, his father. I don't ask my dad about his grandparents. What trauma would that come from? Does he even know him? Black names say you will remember me. Black names say I am someone. Black names say I am one of a kind. Black names say I promise you won't forget me. Black names say my name correctly. My name is Letitia Lachey. I don't know who the fuck Ellis is. See, my name is so black that when you say it, my ancestors let you know that they're paying attention. My name is so black that the smell of collard greens and cornbread and fried chicken and sweet potato pie comes in the air. My name is so black that the sound of it starts a line dancing of the cha-cha slide. See, my sisters' names are Latoya and LaShawn. Were in all the ghetto hood movies of the ghetto princesses. Latoya, Letitia, and LaShawn, sometimes Letitia. See, Bonita knew what she was doing. See, my mother refused to make us easy to swallow. Made our names choke you if you were not careful. My mom knew we were meant for greatness. My mom looked at me and knew I was meant for greatness. See, my mom looked at her little brown-skinned daughter and knew she would grow up to be a beautiful black woman and knew she needed to name me accordingly. See, my name is a mouthful. My name looks you in the mouth and expects your tongue to do the goddamn work. My name is thick like my ass in these dress pants. My name transforms you into a herald, announcing each syllable in my name. If you do not know what that means, not Tisha. My name will no longer be shortened. I will no longer shorten myself to make your teeth feel tall. No longer will we dilute our children's names down to make them more pliable for white noise. You say it, and you will put respect on it, because black names are beautiful. Black names are colorful. Black names are powerful. Black names are elegant. Black names are peaceful. Black names are soft. Black names increase value. Black names are the names of entrepreneurs and moguls and judges. Black names are homes to relatives we will never see walk through the door. Black names are a way to show that we always will find our way home, that we will always persevere, that we always persevere. And that is why my name is Letitia. My name is Letitia Lachey. Say it. Letitia Lachey. Now sit up straight.
All right. All right. All right, y'all. Give it up one more time for Letitia Lachey. We figured out what was wrong with that microphone, by the way. It knew what she was about to do to it. And it was just like, nah. All right, y'all. We got one poet left in the first round of open mic this evening. If you've been coming here for a while, you might remember him. Y'all put your hands together for Rebel Poet.
Hi guys. So I'm back in Dayton, and I haven't been here for 2.5 years. So this is actually my first poetry slam in 2.5 years. So I'm gonna be doing some old shit. Prairie Valley Street, where the trees turn bright orange in the autumn because they have to or be uprooted. And the fishermen gather on a man-made pond where God did not unleash the fish, where you wave to your assumed neighbor as they walk their dog and pass by, and the neighbor doesn't talk and the dog doesn't bark at the hum of your pickup truck or the dog that passes on the other side. But if your dog barks, or if your pickup truck doesn't sound like the rest, then the cops come to your doorstep. They notify you it must be towed. You have 30 days because the neighbors deem it an eyesore. But I loved that turquoise Chevy 94 with the 8-foot bed and rack to haul with a fade sticker of the American flag and camo seat covers I rode to school every day. And it sucked gasoline like it needed its own pipeline. And I hand rolled down the windows to wave at the dogs passing by, and it didn't last long. But for what it did, it carried garbage bags and my family's clothes, with my mother, sister, and I squeezed together on the bench seat. It took me home from school when I couldn't stand the concrete walls come caving in on me, and it didn't last long. But for what it did, it carried those garbage bags and my family's clothes, with my mother, sister, and I squeezed together on the bench seat. Took me home when I couldn't stand the concrete walls come caving in on me, and I didn't come from Prairie Valley Street, but it was damn nearby, where the cops didn't care about the sore on your eyes of our things being thrown out on the lawn. And instead, the neighbors had to be fended off for picking and gawking like vultures against trees that weren't purposefully planted only to turn the desired orange of autumn leaves. That's that piece. Thank you.
Y'all put your hands together one more time for Rebel Poet. Running up here is way more painful than jumping off the stage is, just in case anyone's interested. Link seems interested.
No, not really. Not at all.
Oh, I was just saw you reaching for the microphone, and I thought you had some type of witty banter to engage us with.
When is my banter ever witty?
Well, it depends on how many drinks I've had, Link.
Or I've had.
No, normally it depends on how many drinks I've had.
Let's get on with it.